Hi darlings, it is your cosmic auntie here with your collective reading for the new moon in Libra happening next week. First of all, happy Libra season. Birthday wishes to all you Libras out there. I adore you. Keeping lovely. So let's just jump into this because, well, why not? I like to start off my readings with sharing with you about different words or images that come to me as I tune into the energy and clear the cards, etc. So, as I was prepping for this reading, I kept hearing the word rhythms over and over again. And then as I got deeper into it, I heard rhythm reset. So, what are some of your rhythms? What are some rhythms that you're wanting to reset or have reset? What are some of the rhythms that you'd like to turn the volume up on? Yeah. I also heard, what do you love about yourself? What do you love about yourself? I feel like there's been some serious leveling up in that arena. Like this is a question I feel like a lot of you can answer quite quickly because there's been some deep self-discovery, and I get the sense that there's certain rhythms that have been reset that were not jiving with the rest of your vibe. If that makes sense. Like there's something that I feel that you really conquered. I just heard the word conquered. Like, yeah, say it. So I said it. Conquered. And from that, this juicy depth of self-love. So what is that? Because I feel as though this is an important time to become like quite clear on that, especially if you are really like, yeah, this resonates, and there's this, truth, this elixir of love that you have for yourself. There's words to it as well, right? Libra is an air sign, so there's an expression that you have. Really, like in short, you have an answer to my questions. So what are your answers to the questions I asked? And apply that to like perhaps a rhythm reset. And from that to clarity on the rhythms you want to turn the volume up on. So Libra is a sign that invites us into exploring our experience in connection. So the opposite of Libra is Aries, I am. So like, who are you in connections? Libra is all kinds of different connections. I feel that whatever rhythm reset that has occurred, and this answer to my question about what you love about yourself, really it has to do with your reflection of your experiences in relationships. So yeah, I hope that's made sense, because those are the words that I kept hearing: rhythms, rhythm reset, and what do you love about yourself? What are you proud to carry into connection? Okay, I just heard protection, and perhaps a lot of you have learned to be a lot more protective over your energy, your light, you know. Libra, something you can, you know, within the Libra archetype is to learn how not to overextend oneself in connection. The balance, right, with the scales, with Aries on the other side of Libra, is bringing yourself and your self-awareness into the connection. And if that like rocks things, you know, shakes the boat when you start having healthy boundaries for yourself, then there's awareness about what's a connection that is healthy for you and not. So I feel like there's some really big learning lessons around that right now, that you've conquered. So like, good for you. Like, there's this like real rich, like regal, like energy coming through here where, you know, like no crumbs, and also being really real about what I heard it, toxicity, you know, have you brought into connections unknowingly, you know, these happen, or knowingly, whatever, you know, when you think. There's been just some real deep truths I'm sensing, that have been that you've brought awareness to and conquered. So there's been some clearing about the things that you don't want to bring into dynamics that were toxic, that were played out, that limited you, like, you know, self-sabotage or things like that, or, you know, just there's a deeper understanding that I'm sensing here, sweethearts. So I guess the best thing to do right now is to flip over these cards, because I'm curious as to see what the energy map will present. But yeah, I feel such a cathartic cleanse that may have gone on for some time, or been, you know, there's been a relationship building with the process of accountability and what you want and and who you are, and being more protective over your energy and speaking up for yourself more, or I heard the opposite of that, like really making room for another as well. So if you feel like you're overextending energy and you're kind of lost and you don't really know how to speak up for yourself, there's lessons that have been learned there. And then if you resonate with not letting enough air in the room for two, and not, you know, you're taking up a lot of space, there's been lessons to learn about that. So remember the scales. So anyway, and rhythm resets. Let's flip over the cards. Yeah, they're like, it feels like really good. Like there's a mastery of something that I'm sensing with within the collective. A lot of you may be emanating this sense, right, where you feel like that breath after a deep process, and you're like, okay, you know. Whoa. because like I get the sense that a lot of what may have used to bother you, you've taken the time to really like address it and have a sense of strength and victory in regards, like there's just certain things that don't bother you as much anymore, which is wonderful. That's growth, you know. And there's this sweet like sense of bliss and peace. So that's really beautiful. That's really beautiful. Another thing too is Mercury is in retrograde, and Mercury is also in the sign of Libra right now. So this is about to like Mercury is about communication, expression. Like there, you know, there's this the mercurial aspect. It's a ruler of Gemini, another air sign. So there's a lot that's being asked or invited. That energy, that cosmic energy, is inviting us into reflection and like going over what you need to go over, taking the time to really I just keep hearing like a fine-tooth comb, like really going over what you may have just, right, when we were learning about, we were talking about being conquered, like feeling of conquering something that was getting at you, was like getting in your way, and now you have such an awareness about it that there's a significant amount of power that you've taken away from it because of this awareness. And like I said in the beginning, there's answers to the question in regards to what do you love about yourself. There's this depth of love that I'm feeling for yourself. And with that comes the vibration of those who like just meet that your frequency and immediately respect who you are, and there's this chance I'm sensing right now to really try out, you know, some of these more conducive ways of communicating that you have established within yourself, your self-talk, as well as how you communicate in connection, how you express. There's just like a restructuring of like relationship dynamics I'm sensing from y'all. Like perhaps a lot of you have been thinking about like what works, what doesn't, and like honestly just being like, you want something new, you want something fresh, you want to reset, a rhythm reset. And you're on it, you're doing it. I get the sense that a lot of you are like, whoa, really meeting people right now that are so aligned with the energy that you're wanting to call in, and the energy that you want to embody, want to bring out more your authenticity, because I really get the sense that a lot of you have been working on that and becoming like super discerning about what you allow yourself to say to yourself, and also who you allow in your energy, and how you allow yourself to be spoken to in some ways, right? And there's been a lot of empowering here. There's been a lot of like restructuring, but yeah, there's this, I don't know, I feel like a lot of you are calling in like this deep like soul family, and you're seeing and meeting them in real time. These are people who may be, do things differently than you, have different projects, passions, businesses, but they vibrate in the frequency that you have established is that you deserve, which is like the whole meal, right, darlings? Like, no more crumbs. I just keep hearing that too. Like, no more crumbs. You're ready for new experiences, and you're looking at what brings you so much joy, and what is delicious to you. So that's really cool to see coming in. Your strength is this like trust, and this how do I just a second. There's this, I just keep seeing like, I keep looking through binoculars, which that's why I took a second to try and figure that out. But it's like this trust. I guess it goes back to, I said this in the last couple readings, in your ability to navigate the experiences of your life. And dropping into the heart more. And like really working on that heart to mind connection. So when you drop into your heart more, and then your heart instructs your mind, then great things can kind of happen, and then the two can communicate, if that makes sense. I feel like that there's been like a clearing of that, so that you're not too much in the mind and then you're not too much in the heart. There's a balance, because I sense that a lot of you are, like really, sorry, these are really shiny cards, but this is the Ace of Swords in there. Like really clear about who you are and what you want, and no more crumbs. There's like a certain hook that keeps bringing me back into the past though, and it takes time, I guess. This is how I would like to, I guess, express this. It takes time to let go. It's a process. It's a practice. It's a rhythm reset. Okay, so there's a little hook that is kind of linked into the past still, and the advice is the Tower. Keep letting go to what that does not serve, okay? And again, it's a practice. There's this desire I'm sensing from a lot of you to really take time out to reflect. Maybe a lot of you want to look back at, with Mercury retrograde, the lessons that you have just learned, whatever they may be for you. And with this new moon, sorry, it's my dog walking around. A new moon is an invitation to set intentions and to, like, plant a seed. And I just saw this like really cool visual of like an entire like universe getting sucked into a little seed. And so maybe this Mercury retrograde, you have your little seed pod and you're like, all the fertile like richness decay of the last chapter is fertilization to this seed, you know. So just, I saw this like vacuum of like what has decayed, giving birth to this new way of approaching connection, this new way of approaching relationship. And I do see a lot of like people coming in, like for maybe some of you who have lost or like kind of had just different fallout with friends or lost friends in some ways, or had a totally new community kind of happen. Maybe a lot of you moved, or excuse me, things like that. I see a lot of people kind of coming in right now where you're like, oh my gosh, yeah, like whoa, or like incredible, like really kind of just great connection. And then for a lot of you, I sense that there is a close group around you that you really feel a sense of belonging with, a certain community, group of friends, like work group, whatever it may be. But yeah, so for those, you know, just, I guess, thank the good people around you, right? This Libra season, it's time to express love. It's time to express yourself. You know, validate those that you enjoy, and, you know, tell those that you love them, and enjoy the new connections some of you may be making right now. And yeah, keep vibing that like the Nine of Cups is right at the center of your reading, which is this sweetness about it all, and your inner child is really happy, you know, and a secure feeling emotionally. There's just been so much that I sense that a lot of you have been emotionally working on, and like it's real, it's deep. But with the Ten of Cups, right, there's this fruition of emotional wisdom, this emotion, like, you know, what is truly important and meaningful to you. So yeah, super cool. If things keep, you know, kind of hooking you back into the past, trust in your ability to navigate through the darkness, because you've been there. You know your light more, and keep shining it into those places, because those are important places to learn about ourselves, you know. And so if a little certain wiggle of heartbreak of past comes in, know that, well, I feel as though by now you know what it is. So greet it and do what you need to do in order to bring awareness to it, and allow it the space it needs to express itself, even though it is challenging. You have this sage wisdom about you, okay? And don't forget that deep sense of joy that I feel is just emanating from this reading, right? And those places where we've felt really hurt and betrayed and heartbroken, can be a stark contrast and an illumination onto what we truly deserve and want, and you know what I mean? Like, these places can help us put into words what we would rather happen and the kind of love that we want to have in our lives, and how you want to feel in your body, all of these things. What do you love about yourself? Back to the beginning of this reading. And like, maybe this, some of you are like really, when that kind of wiggle of heartbreak past comes in, you're really blocking it. You're like, no. But I invite you to allow it to have some space, because everything around is like, this is just looking back, right? This is Mercury retrograde. There are going to be some things that like come up, you know, and you like think that monster's dead, and like that last like tentacle or whatever flies up and wraps around like the, I don't know, the pole or whatever it is, and you're like, and you have to like go back. That's kind of like Mercury retrograde energy, but trust, like, there's nothing to be scared of with it. It's just dotting your I's and crossing your T's and going over what you've just gone through. An instant replay and a chance to take a magnifying glass to it. And maybe if this resonates, write down what you'd rather and what you're wanting to bring into your life, and like what you're confident in yourself about, and the things that you love that you bring into connection, the things that you're releasing and that you don't want to bring into connection anymore. And just like express it, articulate the lessons, darlings. Because I see a lot of you are catapulting into a whole new experiences, whole new adventures. Like, you're ready. So enjoy this time of introspection. Take this time in Mercury retrograde and the new moon to really become clear and articulate what you'd rather and what you're calling in, and like who you are and what you love about yourself. Because dang, there's some warrior energy coming through here. Let's flip over this oracle and we'll close up for this reading. So we've got Ishtar, boundaries. Love yourself enough to say no to others' demands on your time and energy. And we've got Blueberry Dragon, goals. Cool. So boundaries, that is something that came into this reading earlier on with Libra. There can be, an experience of where you overextend yourself in relationship, and how to stand in your own energy more, as well as connect and hold space for another. Right? And the reciprocity between the two that is healthy for both parties. So love yourself enough to say no to others' demands on your time and energy. I really do feel like a lot of you, that's a huge lesson that you've been examining, that you've been reflecting on, that you've been observing in your life, and starting to, right, Ace of Swords, establish boundaries, establish boundaries with yourself and with others, and then holding those boundaries, and holding your core. And this has really brought in a whole breadth of space, I feel, for a lot of you to fill your own energy out more, and like really do things that like fill your cup up, and like just more room for happiness or something like that. So good for you. Let's read about Ishtar. A sincere desire to give of service is wonderful. However, there's a distinction between giving of yourself and giving up yourself. If you feel tired, guilty, or resentful while helping others, then you're not truly helping them, are you? You're injecting poisonous energies into the relationship, and then no one benefits. Step back and reassess the situation. As you respect your own boundaries, others will begin to recognize and respect them within you and within themselves as well. Now that's a healthy behavior to teach to others. So very Libra. And Libra in, like, I guess the light side of Libra, whatever, like, I don't know if light, shadow, to me, that's all about kind of external and internal processing. So there's no like good or bad, but very much like a Libra energy, Libra Aries axis in a healthy vibration. What's that line? As you respect your own boundaries, others will begin to recognize and respect them within you and within themselves as well. Now that's a healthy behavior to teach others. So I feel like there's just been some huge lessons around this. So please give yourself a pat on the back. Like there are some, like, there's growth that is just astronomical. I'm sensing from the energy here. So your cosmic auntie is saying, like, well done, darlings, like, well done. And now it's time to step into that power more and more and more, and move towards your goals, whatever they may be, right? Like, and when you have more boundaries over your time, you have more time to work with. So like really bringing in your own passions more, perhaps setting some different like goals for yourself that you know you weren't able to have space for because everybody else took up too much space in your life until there's been some tower moment here that has been helpful because it's in your advice position that has made you really reassess like the way that you work with your time and your energy, and as well as fostering healthy connections and being the beautiful person that you are. Okay. Let's read about the blueberry dragon and then we'll finish up. Okay. When this affable fellow wanders in, it's a good time to look at your goals. Prioritize activities based on time needed. Take on the longer tasks first. Blueberry reminds us that we must focus our energies in order to make things happen. When you have a large project at hand, write down the steps, make a timeline, then carefully calculate each part of the journey toward the end goal. Plan your work, then work your plan. Okay, yeah. There's definitely like you have some more space to actualize some of your hopes, your dreams, your goals through the air that you've created around yourself, and the healthier dynamics that have been able to take place of perhaps less healthy dynamics that you've released that may still have, there's grief processes there, but we've talked about that, right? Take your time with them. You know what they are, and the more that you know about things that are challenging within yourself, the less like power they have over you. So yeah, this has been a delightful reading, my friends. I'm just gonna leave with this 10 of Cups in your inner child position. Like, just wow. I just feel this like just this fresh deep breath, and it just filled like the caverns of like my sternum. Like there's just yeah, well done. Trust in your power. Trust that you deserve everything that's good. And what do you love about yourself? If this resonates with you, leave me a comment. I love hearing from you. Make sure to like and comment, subscribe. Check the description for my email for a personal reading. Thank you so much for being here. Your cosmic auntie appreciates you so much. And I'll see you at the full moon, okay?